CM Punk on the score. Punk, how's it going, man? Thanks for the time.
Good Lord, that that audio package that I heard before I came on here is like my greatest hits. I can't wait to deliver some more.
That's our guy. That's Chris Tannehill, who is a wrestling fan and an audio whiz. And let us personally thank you for keeping Living Color's cult Personality alive and at the forefront the way you have. That rocks.
Yeah, I'm an old sap in that way. That was my Little League's theme song in 1989. So I got to keep it real. Use it in Ring of Honor. Had Vince pay for it in WWE, and now we're rocking and rolling in AEW.
Good job, just spending Vince's money. I like that. That's good. Make it pay.
Somebody had to.
Yeah, make it pay for those rights.
Yeah, he's got plenty.
How special is it for you as a Chicago guy to get that reception that you got at the United Center and then be coming back with AEW tomorrow?
It's beyond words. I wouldn't be able to describe it, no matter how many times I try. I think a lot of it is because I still haven't been able to fully process it. And I don't think I want to be able to fully process it, because I think if you really sat back as an individual and processed that, I would become a raging egomaniac. There's just too much going on, too much love. It was legitimately, as cheesy as it sounds, greatest night of my career, electric, all those things. And I really took the time in the moment to soak it up and enjoy it. And I think that came through on television, and I thought it was a hell of a moment.
Yeah, it's, this city has a way of sticking with people, even if you leave. We've talked to basketball players about the Chicago basketball culture and what the city means to them. We've asked comedians about it. I'm born and raised here, and then when I got this job back here at the Score after doing radio in other places, it just means something different. What does Chicago in your hometown mean to you?
It's everything. It's a representation of, who I am, where I come from. I always wanted to live here. It broke my heart when I had to leave. I celebrated like crazy when I got to come back, and it's just such a great place, mostly because of the type of people that inhabit it. But I was always repping Chicago wherever I went, so much that certain people see the Chicago flag now and they're like, oh, it's the CM Punk symbol, which, to me is tremendous. It's factually inaccurate, but I love the city so much. It's great to be tied to it in such a loving way.
So I'm surprised, by the way, that I guess I shouldn't say surprised, but good for you for not being a raging egomaniac. Just to, it seems like a baseline as a wrestler. I think you have to kind of just sort of be one from time to time. But, right, you have to have crazy confidence to go out there and pull off everything that you have. You have that compartmentalized in the right way at your best?
I think sometimes, yeah, for sure. It shows. I think when, the red light's on and you're in front of 15,000 screaming people, it's, that's what they like to see. They love the brash egomaniac CM Punk. But also, I'm an honest, real dude, and I think that's why I've connected with people so much, is because, last Friday when I debuted and I came out, tears in my eyes, members of the audience crying, I jumped into the crowd. It's just like a real connection. I'm fortunate to have it, and it comes through on the screen. Now, I understand, a lot of people like pro wrestlers that are big and tough and scream and yell and stuff like that. And I'm more like the kind of the dude that's just going to come out there and never going to lie to the people, always going to be honest. But yeah, I would like to stay grounded and humble. And I think Chicago helps me do that, but they're for sure. You can't go through an experience like that without thinking a little bit that, man, I'm the man,
Lockport High School's CM Punk. I think it's between you and Mike Zimmer, the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, and
I think he's got that.
How about Ron Coomer, our guy, what? Ron Coomer? Yes, for most famous Lockport alum, it's probably Punk. I think you got it, man. So
I honestly didn't know there was anybody else who ever graduated from Lockport High School.
there you go.
You're the only one. You're actually the only person that's ever graduated.
What kind of wrestler were you in the Lunatic Wrestling Federation, the backyard wrestling federation of your early life in the early aughts?
Somebody's reading Wikipedia.
It might be true. It might be true. Busted.
So I was CM Punk. The honest truth. I was 15 years old, and I was CM Punk. It's kind of wild that name has been with me. I mean, more than half of the time I've been on Earth. But I just think it speaks to when I was doing that, I was trying to think of a cool name, and everybody was like, "Well, everybody calls you Punk anyway, so you might as well just go ahead and be that." And as they say, the rest is history.
You say you're a real dude and just honest, and that kind of is what distinguished you. Do you feel like that in your wrestling career almost made it like, man, WWE didn't know what to do with you because you are actually authentic? Like, I feel like maybe there would be a difficulty in marketing. It shouldn't be that way, right? You're the genuine article, but do you feel like sometimes it was tougher for people to figure out what the hell to do with you, given that you're just a normal person in a somewhat abnormal world?
Yeah, but I also think because I do say what I feel and speak my mind, not to a point of like being abrasive, but if somebody asks me my opinion about something, I will give it. And I think that made a lot of people behind the scenes early on in my career at WWE just absolutely befuddled, because I would just be like, well, you asked, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you. And then they would be like, no, you don't say that out loud to anybody else. I'd be like, well, you asked, So yeah, I throw people for a loop here and there.
What was one that got you in a lot of trouble, where you were like, I was just, ask a question, get an answer?
I think, famously, my second pay-per-view, I think, was in December of 2006, and it was the ECW pay-per-view that was atrocious, and I was in the main event, and I think Vince took me into his office, and he was like, I heard you disagree with the finish of the match. And I was like, yeah, here's what I think we should do. And he said, well, I've been doing this a lot longer than you, so you're going to have to trust me on this one. I said, well, I mean, you're the boss. It's not like I'm not going to go out and do what you tell me what you want. I just think there's a better way to do this that can make everybody shine and get over. And I don't know if he was mad. There's a few other people that were like, I just don't think he was used to being spoken to like that by somebody, especially not somebody who'd only been on TV for like a few months. But that kind of laid the groundwork for my relationship with him. Like I was always gonna tell him the truth. I was always gonna be honest.
Well, and when you would talk to the crowd and talk about the marketing, how they didn't know what to do or push against it, that it always seemed pretty real to like the hardcore wrestling fans that we've talked to. It's like, I guess the drama of it is better if it's based in reality, right? So is the line fairly blurry?
Yeah. I mean, 100%. There's an old school wrestling. How do I say? It's a good staple. Like if you're talking to the audience, like don't lie to them. Tell the truth, and then 3-4 steps down the line, you can go ahead and say something that is within storyline that is, a quote unquote work. And then that'll make them go, oh, well, hey, wait a second. He said A, B, and C, and that's the truth. And then he said that. So, I mean, he must be telling the truth. Like there's a way to, be a magician about it, and instead of just straight up lying to the people. Like the fans are a lot smarter than some companies give them credit for.
See, that's fascinating. I think you just unlocked something for people like who might not get the allure of wrestling, is that there's enough realness in there that, people can go along with you when you take it that extra step, as long as it fits within the storyline. So is that why that's why people end up feeling invested? Because especially when you're as close to the genuine article as a guy like you are, maybe there's more people that are closer to their character than we even realize.
Well, I think there's a lot of old school guys that, were the real deal. And then the more the people believed in them, the more things they said and things they did weren't see-through. You could punch holes in them. Then you can get a little bit more goofy pro wrestling. You know what I mean? But coming out of the gate and being like, hey, I'm a garbage man. When you're not a garbage man, the people are going to see right through that. You know what I mean? But if you can't lie to the people, at least not right away.
CM Punk with us on The Score. AEW tomorrow, Now Arena in Hoffman Estates. So if like athletes want to be rock stars want to be athletes, you're an athlete and a wrestler and a celebrity who's also a Chicago sports fan. Like, you're a Hawks fan, Cubs fan. Like, did you have cool up close and personal interactions with like those Hawks Stanley Cup teams or the Cubs World Series team because of your status and like they're recognizing you and vice versa?
Yes, that is possibly one of the cool things of, being who I am and being recognizable and stuff like that. I've always repped both of those teams. So, they get good again, and all of a sudden it's just like, well, hey, like, you want to come to this game, you want to come to the bar with us, we got the cup. I've had a lot of great moments with a lot of those guys.
All right, how many times have you drank out of the cup? How many times?
I've never drank out of the cup. I don't drink. So the cup would be constantly filled with alcohol. So I would pass.
Yeah, no, that's an idiotic question by me.
To the straight edge, the famously straight edge.
To the guy I was reading about for like an hour today about how he doesn't drink. Yeah, idiotic question by me.
Have you dealt with any other fluids inside the cup?
Have you had water out of the Stanley Cup, perhaps?
A lot of the cup stories are going to come with a no comment attached to it because, a lot of what happens when you're out with the cups kind of got to stay out there,
Oh, it's like Vegas. What happens with the cup stays with the cup.
Mm.
All right, well, so what is the best story where you had this like pinch me moment? Like, I can't believe I'm in the presence of fill in the blank, or I can't believe I'm doing fill in the blank with people that you would be fanboying out and just watching them on TV.
Just witnessing the Cubs in Cleveland win the World Series, I think obviously takes the cake, just simply because of the championship drought that they had, and the curse of the Billy Goat, the Ron Santo Black Cat, like all of the folklore and everything that went around the Cubs, being the perennial lovable losers, and watching that be shattered, on a November night in Cleveland. I don't think anything can possibly top that, like up close and personal, like just to witness it. It was history.
I don't think there's anything like it left in sports, frankly. Like that was the great white whale for all of sports. What it was, St. Louis Blues winning a Stanley Cup? No,
we don't like to talk about that. Yeah. Let's not discuss small market teams. Let's keep it to the big leagues. Okay?
That's excellent. All right, so we're obsessed with Justin Fields around here. What's more important? Okay. What's more important in team sports? The quarterback to a football team or the goalie for a hockey team? Who's more important?
Oh, God.
Right?
Oh, I think inside football and hockey culture, I think they're pretty equally important, but I'm a hockey guy. Like you got to go with the goalie, like your goalie is like, he's like one above the captain, right? Like you can make a goalie a captain, but he's the dude that gets blasted with slap shots and pucks and all that stuff. And, a lot of the times the team will live or die by that goalie. If they lose, it's because of the goalie. If they won, oh, wow, that goalie was spectacular. But, I think a lot of football teams also kind of rely on their quarterback in that way, but not as much as the goalie gets leaned on in hockey.
Is that what you'd want to be if you could be anything else in sports?
Oh, I tried to be a little Patrick Waugh when I was a kid, but hockey equipment is expensive. And remember, I went to Lockport High School, so that should tell you about the economic situation I was in at that point in my life.
The only graduate of Lockport
You're it.
of Lockport High School.
One-man alumni.
Which did not have a hockey team. Yes, correct.
Are you more comfortable with the current state of the Blackhawks or the current state of the Cubs? Because they're both in an interesting spot right now.
Oh God, I'm not comfortable with the current state of the Cubs at all. Like that's, I don't even want to talk about that. Yeah, I think the Blackhawks had a very successful offseason. Obviously, I'm still taking a wait and see approach with Fleury because there was a little bit of drama about him possibly retiring before he put on the Indian head sweater. So I'm going to be optimistic and wait and see. I'm glad they just re-signed Murphy to an extension. Sad to see Duncan Keith go, but I think he is going to flourish with Oil. But as far as the Hawks go, I want to see Taves come back, and I want to see these guys go on a run.
CM Punk with us for just another minute or two. AEW tomorrow, Now Arena in Hoffman. What was it that made you come back? Like what lit that fuse again to be like, you know what, I got more left to give here?
There's a lot of things that made me come back. Obviously I'm 100% physically and mentally healthy now. I had to take myself out of a bad situation and kind of grow and heal from all the things that had happened to me. There's a lot of sports things that kind of lit a fire under my ass, sitting on my couch watching Last Dance, Jordan and the Bulls, and watching Mike Tyson do an exhibition fight. HBO did a tremendous documentary on Tina Turner that I watched, and I was just, they all had one thing in common: these tremendous comebacks, And for 7 years, the wrestling fans have stayed with me, and they've clamored, and they've chanted my name, and they've screamed for me. So, about a year and a half, 2 years ago is really when AEW first started. So to watch them flourish and grow in that short amount of time, get a huge television deal with TNT, which used to be the home of, Jim Crockett Promotions, NWA, WCW stuff, a perfect storm, and everything, kind of starts with an idea, right? And that idea gets planted like a seed, and that seed grows, and here we are, and we're still growing, and we're going to make sure that it doesn't stop until it's a mighty oak tree. I'm happy to be back, and I'm super happy it's with AEW.
That's really cool that those are the things that kind of got in your head. Jordan aged into an owner and has become a pretty thoughtful public speaker at this point in his life, which is interesting. Tyson aged into a very interesting, self-aware guy. Tina Turner kept going and kept performing into her 60s and 70s. How does one age gracefully as a wrestler? And what do you age into when wrestling is done? Man,
I don't think you age gracefully in wrestling. I think, I think it's high impact, and it's, to me, it's art. You know what I mean? I am forever a Bret Hart fan. And I look at what a guy like Bret always did, and it was always art. And there's a lot that goes into it, right? I'm not so much worried about what other people think of my art. It's just my art, and I'm here to use it as an expression of myself. And it's good to be painting with these colors again. I've been fortunate. I've done a lot of cool things in my life. Fought in the UFC, written for Marvel Comics, done TV, movies, all projects that were special to me. But this feels like home. So it's good to be home.
Well, people can see you at the Now Arena in Hoffman Estates tomorrow with AEW. We really enjoyed this, and our audience absolutely loved it, and they were thrilled when we told them that you were coming on. So hopefully we can do it again. Thank you very much for the time, and good luck tomorrow.
Well, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me on here.
You got it. We'll check out Heels, too. Good luck with Heels.
Oh, please do. Thank you very much.
You got it. Heels is the TV show that he's in. It's on Starz. Chicago's own Joel Murray is a part of that in a supporting role as well. That was fun. Interesting dude.
Yeah, very interesting guy. Very thoughtful and man of many interests, you could tell.
Yeah, for sure. And a guy who takes it uber seriously as art, as sport, as narrative, as all of it is, as interesting.
Yeah, so one terrible question by me. But, I mean, terrible?
No, I don't know.
Here's the thing: not many
Not that
people
terrible.
will realize how terrible it was because, like, you have to be like a wrestling fan to know. And there's not a lot of them, judging by the Twitch here. Oh wait, there is a lot of them.
Yeah, there's a ton of them. Every
Yeah.
single one of them thinks it was just absolutely
And
idiotic.
also, Tanny told you yesterday that he didn't drink,
Yeah.
and you kind of cut him off mid-answer to ask the question, how many times have you drank out of the Stanley Cup?
Well, hold on.
all right.
But in Danny's defense, soda could have been in the cup. You know,
True.
apple
Yes.
juice. Is that apple juice?
It wasn't a Holocaust question. I don't think.
I don't think it
I don't think it was a
qualifies.
Holocaust question.
Not even
No.
close.
Overall,
Just
the
a bad
interview was
question.
a net positive.
Also, it is another question, another follow-up interview question. Was that an insult to me when he calls me out for reading Wikipedia?
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah. That sucked. Yeah. So worst moment, me getting called out for reading Wikipedia or Danny asking him if he's ever drank out of the cup?
We have a lot of things that he was great.
He was great.
Yeah, he was really.
We had our moments.
Really, really good.
Yeah.